officer for science.
Okay, and then I was thinking about getting drive coil.
Yeah.
Because that makes your ship go faster and turn better.
It only makes your ship go faster either in sector space or at full impulse, which is in between combat inside of a system.
Okay, so maybe not.
However, it does say it reduces the power drain on other systems while in full impulse, which would be very useful.
It would be useful after a couple more points spent in other stuff.
Maybe.
Probably.
Right.
I want to start putting points into that soon, but not right now.
I wouldn't max driver coil, but I would put 3 points into it, and I'd consider putting 6 points into it. In fact, I am going to put 3 points into it right now to see how much of an energy level difference it makes, based on my other character who has no points in driver coil.
Okay. So,
because
once I get some...
you get 18 points per skill point for the first 3, and then 10 points of effectiveness per skill point for the second 3. So you can minor in something and get a 50% bonus on 3 skill points, or you can major in it and get an 85% bonus for 60 skill points, or a 99% bonus for 9 skill points. So it's diminishing returns in that respect, but there's still a lot of things that I like to max completely.
So these points like 18 and 36, they're percents? I get an 18% bonus at level 1 or whatever?
I don't know what they're percents of, but they are measured in percents.
So what I mean is it's not plus 18 points to my score, it's plus 18%, right? So whatever my score value is for medic, it becomes, instead of 100% of my medic ability, it's 118%, right?
Well, you're asking me a question that I don't know the answer to. I believe the answer is yes, but that doesn't necessarily mean that if I max out Starship weapons training to get 99% more damage with Starship weapons, that doesn't necessarily mean that I do double damage.
It means that some value in that equation is getting doubled.
Some value in that equation is getting doubled, exactly.
Right.
And there are a lot of values in that equation. It's affected by your distance from the enemy, your energy level of your ship. Firing your weapons drains energy level. Firing too many weapons at once will drain your energy level rapidly, so you may be hitting them with 10 phasers at the same time, but each phaser is going to have a successive effect on diminishing your energy of the power used in the next phaser.
So it is like X-Wing, where when you fire your weapons, the energy level of your weapons goes down.
Yeah, that's why I like to put a lot of points into one of the later skills, which was, Warp Core Potential I love, because it gives you a flat bonus to all your power levels. Warp Core Efficiency is really good, especially at low level, because the lower a subsystem is, the more power it gets. So if I had a minimum level of charge in my shields, I would have 0 shield health regen. But if I had Starship Warp Core Efficiency, I could have 35. I could have the minimum points in my shield, and I could have maybe 35 or 40 or 50 points in the shield because I've set it at the minimum level. So I'd get bonus points that would give me a small amount of shield regen or a small amount of bonus damage.
Told me about this. This essentially rewards you for having your power level set low by essentially eliminating some of that handicap.
Right, and I'd gotten to the point on my high-level character that my Warp Core Efficiency and my Warp Core Potential together were never quite as many points as I wanted, but beyond that you get things like shield performance, so you get flat defensive bonus to a flat energy bonus to your shields, and then weapon performance, so you get flat weapon damage or weapon points to your weapons. So with all 4 of those maxed at 75% power, I have 98 power level. And at 50% power, I've got almost 98. I've got like 85 power level. It's really absurd. So I can afford to move my energy levels around in a lot of ways that I wouldn't be able to do.
Which is why you were able to do so well in that previous streaming I was watching of you. You were able to do very well against enemies the same level as you because your skills were what do you call it? I don't know how to say it. Stacked in such a way that it was optimized every year. Optimized to.
I was optimized to being a generalist, so even when I'm focusing completely offensively, I have really good defenses, and even when I'm focusing completely defensively, I have really good offenses. It makes everything you do more effective.
But in the player versus environment, the enemies don't have that kind of thing going on. They have skills on them, but they aren't tweaked out like you are. So if you don't pay attention to your skills, an enemy that is the same level of you as you could wipe you out. But if you pay attention to what your skills are, you can make up for that difference in difficulty.
Excuse me. Quite possibly.
I'm saying this more as a hope than a affirmation.
I wouldn't go so far as to say that I know what skills they give the NPCs, because of course I don't know that information. They could very easily say, okay, Birds of Prey, which is a low-level Klingon bird of prey, would get any number of useful skills that would make them very good because they're maneuverable and fast attack craft. So anything that gives them more hull capacity would be nice, but also anything that gives them more engine speed would be nice. So a random hodgepodge of skills so that you've got 10 bird of prey and they'll have 10 random skill settings would be very useful to throw into the mix. And some of them would be easier to kill than others. But
yeah, I can see that happening.
I mean, I would say that the way they've designed the skill system, and one of the things I really like about it, is that there are a lot of good ways to make your character effective. And the same would clearly go for the NPCs as well. Depending on what your fighting style is, what your ship type is, what your focus is. As a science officer, I've never been a science officer. I don't know what a science officer really does. I have a Klingon engineering officer, and I've got a Federation tactical officer. And I'm used to thinking in terms of, okay, how can I increase my offensive damage because I'm a tactical officer. So I bring that whenever I'm playing an engineer who is really designed to be more durable and less DPS. That doesn't mean that they're not really good at DPS also. They're better at durability than the tacticals are.
It's just like you said, there's multiple ways to play each of the different classes.
Yeah.
Because there's only 3 classes, that's kind of how they do it. There's different paths you can take. Like the science officer, from what I've read so far, it looks like there's a science officer that can focus mainly on healing individual characters and buffing individual characters.
Mm-hmm.
There's a science officer that can focus mainly on party-wide stuff, and then there's a science officer that can focus mainly on affecting the enemy.
Right.
And then, the standard science officer combines all 3 of those, has the option to access all 3 of those skills at any point. But if you focus on one, you become really good at that.
Right. And I'm going to have a challenge in focusing on any of them, given that I'm used to focusing on something completely different.
Yeah, and a science officer has... I can't remember if this is true or not, but I think an engineer has way more buff skills than a science officer has, and a science officer has way more debuff skills than an engineer has. It's like a synergist versus a saboteur.
Well, I don't know what my abilities as a ship captain are. I mean, as a tactician, I get attack pattern alpha and evasive maneuvers, and they're both very, very useful, and they come in handy all the time. I think
it's funny that the people and furniture are literally popping in and out of existence in front of my eyes. Like, the furniture in the background of this room is appearing and disappearing.
Nice. Congratulations, I guess.
Yeah. My game can't decide whether they're within the draw distance or not. I'm standing still, and the furniture is vanishing from sight and then reappearing.
Nice. I'm going to go to my ship, and we should go do stuff.
How do I go to your ship?
Well, I can go to my ship, and I can go to my ship bridge and then invite you to my bridge, but we can't fly from the bridge. I can show you the cool stuff there is to do on the Starship Bridge.
I would love to do that.
Okay, I will beam to my ship, which is a handy button next to your mini-map.
Beam to ship.
Zoom.
If I do that, will it go to your ship?
it will go to your ship outside of Earth space dock.
Should I do that?
You
Or should I go to
can.
How do I go to you?
I am going to go from my ship or from the ground, like from Earth space dock. I could have done this. Underneath all the tiny, tiny buttons on the right of the minimap, the far bottom right button is More. It's just a down arrow. One of those is Visit Starship Bridge. And that takes you to your ship's interior. And they've been working on adding more functionality and more things you can do from the ship's interior. From the ship's interior, which I'm now in, I should be able to invite you to my ship interior. But
Okay. I'm currently beaming to my ship. Also, I like that in the bottom of the load screen it shows the current date.
does it?
It does.
I don't really pay a lot of attention to load screens.
It looks like it's showing the start date, but it's the first row. I was noticing it while I was loading the game. It says 9/07/04, and then it shows the actual current date, like 2013 dot something. I guess .2.5. Okay, I'm on my ship. Stuff's like, whoa! Oh my goodness, look at this smooth frame rate. Oh, look at this.
Are you being ironic?
No. This, oh, it's beautiful. Oh, Paul, my game is moving normally. Oh, how do I sit in my ship? Let me sit in my ship, in my seat. I'm so enthralled by how smoothly the game is flowing compared to on Earth space dock that I can't remember what words mean what in English anymore. Hold on. Let's see.
I think you need to stand in front of your chair so that you're not blocked by the arms of your chair.
Yes.
And then either right-click it or double-click left on it.
Oh yeah, taking a seat. Oh, I sat down like a champ.
Good for you. You can bend in the middle.
I was like, I was like Caesar from JoJo right just then. He jumped up in the air and sat down. It was great. Okay, how do I go to your ship now?
I am trying to invite you, and it keeps not. I don't know if I'm extending the invite or not.
I can invite you. Invite.
Please do.
Character at handle. Cyreno at Warp Troll. Invite. Oh, nothing happened. Okay. Let me do it.
Yeah, it's been doing that to me. It might be because I need to not be on my bridge. I'm going to leave my ship interior.
Serene sits in a chair.
Let's see what happens.
Okay. Leave ship interior, return to tactical view. What's tactical view?
Tactical view would be the normal space view.
Oh, what have I done? Well, I clicked that. That was a bad idea.